What's going on, guys? Mr. Bropo here, and I am going to be talking to you guys today about the 2020 Sonic movie starring Jim Carrey. Who would have thought we would have gotten that? Something that no one originally asked for, at least that specific thing. But we got it, and it is incredible. I'm not even joking. Today I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things that I liked about the movie. Just my thoughts. This is going to be my thoughts on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Coming from the perspective of a fan, a certified geek of Sonic. This is not going to be like a typical film review or like a critique of the film. This is just going to be me, a nerd, talking about Sonic and what I liked about the movie. First things first, I wanted to talk about this movie because I usually don't do movie reviews. I've done like one, and yikes. This is a movie that I, like no one else, was expecting to be that good, but was, and I really want to talk about it because I am a big fan. As you guys may or may not know, I mean, Sonic's one of the first characters that has ever appeared on my channel. And Sonic is a franchise that I've enjoyed over the course of many years, especially when I was younger. And there's a lot of great games in the franchise, so there's a reason that there's such a big fan base and a big love for Sonic. I mean, these are just a couple of the games that that are my personal favorites that I have, and just some other things that are related to the movie itself. I would highly recommend going to see it. Contrary to most people reluctant to wanting to see it at first, because, you know, most video game movies are not that good. Detective Pikachu is an exception, but think of this movie in that same vein, where it is another really great video game movie. And I think it's doing pretty successfully at the box office. So here's a couple things that I like about it. Number one, the Easter eggs and the amount of Easter eggs. They did this very, very well. I mean, from the beginning, we're probably going to get into some spoilers, so keep that in mind going here on out. The opening scene, we get a look at presumably either, I mean, there's a shot that shows the whole land where Sonic is from. It's an island, and it looks kind of like Angel Island, even though I don't think it is. It could be Mobius, but I'm not sure if it is. And then we see some shots of him running, and it looks like Green Hill Zone. So I don't know which of those exactly is. They never specify exactly what it is, but, you know, we can make some assumptions. But just from the beginning, it looks amazing. It looks exactly like Green Hill Zone. He's running through loops. The ground is crumbling from beneath his feet. I mean, it is freaking amazing. That part alone, it is the equivalent to the opening scene of Bumblebee for Transformers fans. It is just like perfect. It's like if we could ask for like a perfect, you know, movie of either franchise, like that's what it would probably be, to be honest. But I digress. Both of those movies are great though, so don't get me wrong. The way they're amazing. But seeing movies with more of that would have been really cool as well. So I mean, I even own Bumblebee. I got a lot of movies on Black Friday. I don't even collect Blu-rays like that, but I got a lot of good deals because I wanted a lot of these movies. Bumblebee being one of them, because Bumblebee was really good. But this is not about Bumblebee. This is about Sonic. So besides that, we see Sonic attacked in his home when he's a young child, and they look to be echidnas, as in Knuckles the Echidna, as in the entire Echidna clan. If you ever watched Sonic X, or I think the comics, or, you know, in some form of the lore that you can get your hands on or whatever. So that's another thing. Also, the town that is primarily the setting, is the primary setting for this movie, is called Green Hills, Montana. So that's really cool. For obvious reasons. There's a sign, a big road sign that Sonic uses, and he uses it to play ping pong with himself. He has a little cave where he stays in Earth. He stays in hiding. because he's constantly in danger. He is playing ping pong by himself, going real fast, but the sign says Hilltops Road, which I thought was another really cool callback. Speaking of zones, we saw in the trailers Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey, played by Jim Carrey. He's bald, he has the goggles, and there's mushrooms behind him, and I always thought, man, what are they going to do with that? Is that going to be a build-up for the sequel? Which, spoiler alert, it definitely is. However, it's a little bit different in the movies, and how he gets there is explained. Sonic has these teleporting rings. The rings that he carries around are teleportation devices, I guess, which is kind of neat. I didn't think I would like that, but it's pretty neat. And Dr. Robotnik gets transported to this mushroom land that Sonic was originally supposed to go to because he was compromised on Earth and he was in danger. Therefore, he was supposed to travel there. But instead, towards the end of the movie, Dr. Robotnik gets himself transported to this land of mushrooms. So I thought Mushroom Hill Zone, but they don't specify that it exactly is. But it can be assumed that, yeah, it's probably a callback to that in some shape, form, or fashion. Also, Sonic does not want to go to this land. He clearly states that he hates mushrooms, which, I mean, come on, you know, he's making quips, he's talking, he's talking smack to Mario like he's always done. He's always been he's always been a direct rival with Mario since back in the day. So I found that another really cool, very in line with the character. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, or the main blanket statements, that yes, the Easter eggs are very welcome throughout this, and there's a lot of them. There is an old crazy guy in town who thinks Sonic is real, which he is, but everyone thinks he's crazy, and he draws a rough sketch of what he thinks Sonic looks like, and it's frickin' Sonic. I mean, how cool is that? They just do so much cool stuff like that. There's also a little musical cue towards the end of the movie, which is a little piano rendition of Green Hill Zone, which is incredible. I mean, it's so great. There's a lot of callbacks to the games and different things. The shot towards the end of the movie during the climax, where Sonic is running through the Great Wall of China, is a callback to Sonic Unleashed as well. I mean, there's so much stuff that is referenced in this movie, but it's not too much. It's not overbearing. There's not like constant things being thrown at you that if you're casual you're not gonna get. There's just little things for those who are like big fans of this series that, yeah, you'll get that, So the second thing I wanted to talk about is Jim Stinkin' Carrey. Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard at Jim Carrey throughout this entire movie. Such a wonderful choice for Dr. Robotnik. My god, he was phenomenal in this movie. This is probably his best role he's done since I don't know what, man. I mean, wow. This is definitely not like some of his recent films. Basically, this is classic Jim Carrey, doing his thing, being Dr. Robotnik. He does such a great job of being such a jerk. I mean, he's such a... Oh man, he can be such a jerk, but he's hilarious. Such a likable jerk. He can be a jerk to the people around him, but you laugh at his jokes, and you laugh at his quips, and he's so goofy. Jim Carrey is so great at physical humor and portraying, like, humor through his body and through his face. His facial features and his expressions, his mannerisms are just hilarious. He does such a great job in this film. And towards the end, this is something I want to talk about. That scene where you see in the trailer, in the first trailer with the awful design, which, by the way, basically, you see that, and he gets transported, like I mentioned earlier, and he is shaved his head bald, his mustache is blown out, he's not clean cut like before, he has the red flight suit on, like he had before, but it's torn up a little bit, so he has this red jacket on, he has the poofed up mustache, bald head, the goggles that go on his eyes, and he looks so much like Robotnik. When they announced this, that's what I envisioned, not him with the hair. However, it makes so much sense because they're building up to a sequel, and the first movie portrays him as a pretty weird and kind of crazy guy, but he's still a genius and he still works with the government, so to say. But this is where the transformation begins, where he's completely off the hinges, and he's bald, poofed out mustache, and he's gone crazy. He's talking to himself, and he begins to sound like Dr. Robotnik usually does in the games, like in Sonic Heroes and in, you know, Sonic Adventure or whatnot. You know, the Eggman voice that we all know. It's you know, if you know, you know. But he starts to sound like him even, and he looks so much like him, and I cannot wait to see that in the sequel. So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. And the third thing, speaking of sequels, is the end credits scene. After we see Jim Carrey as Eggman in this mushroom land, we see another thing, and we see another ring come out, and through that teleports Miles Tails Prower. Yes, Tails was in the movie for a short period, and he looks incredible. Wow, they did such a fantastic job interpreting Tails into this new style of, like, you know, realistic Sonic characters, like how Sonic looks. He looks almost, I think he looks a little closer to Tails usually looks than Sonic does, but I like the changes they made to Sonic. Don't get me wrong, his character design in this movie is incredible, but Tails just looks a little closer to his normal video game counterpart usually does, especially in the modern Sonic games. And he looks amazing. The voice for Tails is pretty freaking great too. Sounds just like him in like Sonic X and whatnot. So I cannot wait for a sequel. Speaking of voices, the voice actor Ben Schwartz for Sonic is really great. Phenomenal job on his end. At first, it took me a little bit to get used to it because it's not anyone we've previously heard before. You know, it's not Roger Craig Smith, it's not Julia White, it's not anyone that we've heard before as Sonic as far as I'm aware. But this is a new Sonic voice, but he does a great job. He sounds so natural in the role, and he just brought a lot to the table to this movie. So yeah, guys, all in all, I love this movie. It was so good. I had such a fun time watching this movie, and that's something that I feel like is underappreciated. Having fun when watching a movie. Not every movie is going to be an Oscar-worthy masterclass in filmmaking. Not every movie is supposed to invoke this, this sense of awe in, wow, this is like the greatest film of all time. And not every movie is going to try or even attempt to achieve that goal. However, films are also meant to entertain, and that's something that people overlook or tend to overlook. I see critics a lot, and they're like, well, this movie sucks, man. This movie's trash. I don't like it because, it's garbage or whatever. It's for stupid kids or whatever. Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, rate it according to the audience. And what I mean by that is, if this movie is obviously geared towards children, then rate it as it is. Rate it compared to films of that caliber. Don't go and give it like a horrible score saying, oh my gosh, this movie is trash, just because, it's not the next Godfather or something, which some movies attempt to be, and that's fine, but I just feel like critics give certain movies too hard of a time. And I feel like this one might fall into that category according to the Rotten Tomatoes. It's not that bad, though. I think it's sitting at like a 60 or something like that, so it's not horrible. But, they're like, whatever, it's not that good, it's bad even. I had a fun time watching it. It was charming, and it was pretty heartfelt. The story was actually kind of deep, to be honest. Not like super deep or anything, but it was like, it could get emotional at times. Not like I'm gonna bawl my eyes out and cry emotional, but it was emotional. You felt for Sonic in certain moments because he is on the run constantly and he's lonely, so he's trying to reach out and make a new friend, and you kind of get to see that the actor James Marsden, he does another great job bonding with Sonic, or getting along with Sonic, basically talking to himself, because obviously Sonic's CGI character, so being able to have that same chemistry with a character that's not even real or not even existent. That's another thing that I liked about Bumblebee and Detective Pikachu, even though Bumblebee is not a video game movie. However, they both feature lead characters that do a great job at having good chemistry with, I don't know, a tennis ball with a picture or something on it, or whatever they use. Because I would imagine it's not that easy, being able to bounce off someone like that. I mean, obviously, there's probably a voice actor or something, but at the same time, when you're acting those parts out, there's not a real person there. So, great job from everyone on this film. I think it was a really fun time, and if you're a Sonic fan especially, you got to go see this, man. Definitely check this one out. But anyways, that's enough of my rambling and my geeking out. I'm gonna go ahead and take off. I have a couple new videos coming. This one should come out eventually. I don't know if this is gonna be the one after my face reveal, or this is gonna be the one after another video. We'll see what happens. So I have this video, my favorite figures of 2019, which I don't know if that'll be up yet. I have another video that's gonna be made soon for Toy Fair, because I'm gonna have to make a video for Toy Fair, because that's gonna be going on this weekend. Today is Wednesday, when I went to see this movie. So this weekend Toy Fair is gonna happen, so I'm gonna need to make a video for that, and that kind of coincides with my favorite figures list. And I have some other ideas. Plus, of course, the stop motions, that's coming. Trailer dropping soon. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Oh God! Something seems off around here. Jeez. I have another freaking intruder, man. Get out of here!